to life, but perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the MVP Fantasy Football and Sports Podcast. My name is Tyler Johnson, and with me, as always, is Ryan Elke. Ryan, I know that here in Wisconsin, we have yet to play a softball game due to the weather, and today was promising. I know that it being 52 degrees and sunny is a great summer day here in Wisconsin. So
far,
I'm thinking this Wednesday we might actually play a softball game. But in the meantime, we've been watching some great NBA playoff basketball. We saw two teams going down to Game 7 and Portland pulling it off. I mean, me and you are huge Damian Lillard fans. And then also Kawhi Leonard hitting that fadeaway three-pointer. I know that you saw it.
How does that even go in? It hit the rim like 7 times.
You have to put that thing on an arc in such a soft touch. It was a good shot.
I mean, he deserves the bounce. He's a beast.
So looking into our episode today, I know we're going to be talking about running backs 11 through 20. It gets a little bit dicey in there, but that's the type of area that me and Ryan are probably going to shoot for this season. If you go wide receiver heavy, these are the people that you're going to have on your team, and you're going to find some gems right in that area. So we're looking forward to talking about that.
These are my kind of running backs right here. These are my kind. I like
these are the ones that you had all on your team last year, starting off the season. And then also we have one or two quick news articles, and then we're going to do some questions because today's going to be kind of a more quick podcast. So we're going to be able to hit on a few questions as well. I know Ryan does not know the questions, so we're going to be hitting them with a left hook with these. So
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Be ready for it. And then I know Ryan's probably got the Brewers game on right now, watching both this and the podcast, so he'll have to keep me updated on what's going on there. We both got our beers, so let's get into it. I know that Doug Baldwin, he is retiring. What a sad day for Doug Baldwin. Talk about a guy that had 3 or 4 years left of his career, ended short from injury, and I think that instead of pulling the old Thomas route where you're going to jump around from team to team, it's just better to stop your career there and go out on top. I mean,
like Calvin Johnson did too. I mean, he had some nagging injuries. It's not comparable, but it kind of is. You know what I mean? Like, they're not the same type of receivers or anything, but
don't fall off into like irrelevance where you get injured and you're known as this great player, and then all of a sudden your stats just slowly go down to 600 yards, 500 yards. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was 800 to 1,000 yards for 4 or 5 seasons in a row. Dominant wide receiver. I mean, in 2015, he had 14 touchdowns. You're talking about the Seahawks' best wide receiver. So
don't pull Vince Carter and play till you're like 48 or whatever. You know.
Yeah,
Vince Carter's still playing in the NBA. He said he's coming back. That's crazy.
And being injured, don't re-aggravate an injury. As you get older, it slows you down. And I think he's making a smart move here. Go out on top.
As much as I hate the Seahawks, like I respect good players. So Doug Baldwin was a good player, and I mean I feel for him. That sucks that he has to retire early.
So just a quick outlook then. Where do you like Tyler for their number 1 wide receiver?
I do like him. I mean, he did very well last year. I mean, touchdowns were inflated, sure, but his receptions, I'm pretty sure they're only around 60-ish. That's going to go up. I say he's going to be around 75, 80. Touchdowns be around 8. We have.
Yeah, I can see it.
If you listen to a past podcast, this is before obviously Baldwin retired, and we were all over him. And honestly, this only helps. He's going to get more targets.
Do you think
DK Metcalf is going to be probably a big?
I was just going to say, do you think he's hyped up as Metcalf going into maybe his role, or?
I mean, see, that's so hard to talk about right now. We're not.
It is.
We can't even speculate on that, but.
Rookie
I
wide
assume
receivers.
Metcalf is going to get pushed in there. I mean, he's going to get opportunity. We'll see what he can do.
So
it's a guy to keep an eye on, that's for sure. I mean, I got my eye on him. He can make big plays. He's fast, big dude. Russell Wilson does chuck it deep, so it could work out for him.
Okay. And then, did you have a news article you wanted to talk about?
There's not much on the news, but like Ziggy Ansah, at one time in his career, he was pretty dominant as a defensive end. The Seahawks actually signed him to a 1-year deal, and that probably was to replace Frank Clark that they traded to the Chiefs. So they got Ziganza, and I guess reports that I already heard that he might be missed in the first few weeks of the season. What do you know? He's so injury prone, and that's why I'm so glad Detroit kind of just let him walk. As much as a game changer as he was when he played for the Lions, and obviously that's my favorite team. It's hard. I don't want to see them locking him up for multiple years and playing, 2 of the 4 years. It's just that they don't need any of that. So I think it was a smart move letting them go. I also think it was a smart move for the Seahawks to pick him up. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. It's I'm not sure what the terms were, but they're not losing anything on it.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want someone like that to be on a multiple year contract and be injured.
That's what he wanted, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if obviously he did pass physical, but early on it didn't look like he was going to.
So moving on to would you want to do our 11 through 20 first, or would you like the questions first?
Let's knock out the 11 through 20, and then we can end it with a few questions.
Okay. Well, in our consensus ranking 11 through 20, after we both did our rankings all the way up to 20, I do like the way that our consensus looks for 11 through 20. I know that you taking a look at it as well. We kind of agree. Yep. So we're gonna start off with number 11, and it kind of makes sense because I had him very high in my rankings. I had him all the way up at number 10, and that is Damian Williams. And talk about a guy that has everything to prove this season. He gets that extension. He's going into what was the Kareem Hunt role of last season. And you saw how well Kareem Hunt works with Patrick Mahomes in that high-tempo offense, an offense that's going to score and it's going to pass a lot. And that's where Damian Williams really shined. He's not the most, highlight player, especially coming into the league off of Miami.
He's just smooth. I feel like he's just smooth. He does everything right. He's not like a spectacular guy, but just in terms of how many, the opportunity he's going to get, he has a chance to put up huge numbers if he can stay healthy.
And you look at Kareem Hunt last year, playing 11 games, was all the way up to 800 rushing yards, and then he also had almost 400 yards passing. So, or 400 yards receiving. Yep. So
I got you.
Look at those numbers, and then you look at Damian Williams, who with only 3 games almost had 300 yards, almost 100-yard average, and then he had 160 yards receiving. I mean, that's a guy prone to just step right into the Kareem Hunt role. He just needs to stay healthy, and I think that he is going to be a solid running back to pick up as a 1 on his team with not much behind him. So.
Well, last year he jumped right in the role, and everyone was pretty skeptical of what they were going to do. And
everyone was thinking Spencer Ware too.
He filled right into what Kareem Hunt was doing. He didn't even skip a beat. If not, he may have even outperformed him down the stretch. I don't know. It was like it was still Kareem Hunt, just a different name on the jersey.
Oh my goodness, that's how it looked like, and it might be just an offensive strategy. Like any running back could possibly be thrown in there, kind of like a Steelers running back core.
Like a Steelers type system, maybe.
So Damian Williams at number 11, and then number 12, I know Ryan, kind of the opposite of what we just did. So then Ryan had Le'Veon Bell at 8, and I had Le'Veon Bell at 11. So that dropped him to our number 12 spot, right behind Damian Williams, kind of tied. And Le'Veon Bell being a dark horse, it's going to be hard to judge what he's going to do as a Jets lead running back. Don't really have anyone behind him as well, and he's going to get the rock a lot. I see him getting a ton of attempts, but I'm not sure what he's going to do with them. But behind that offensive line, and
we'll see. It's just like he's going to get plenty of opportunity as well. So it's another guy you definitely want on your team. Any running back that gets the carries and the targets in the passing game you want. It's a guy to target. And Bell is one of those guys. He's a workhorse. He's proven it for the years, and they're gonna rely on him because of the young quarterback and just the young team in general.
And
That's gonna be the king.
And Le'Veon Bell was groomed for what he's about to get. He was a 3-down running back. I mean, 2017 he had 321 rushing attempts. That's insane for a running back. And I mean, when you're playing nearly all 16 games, and then you sat out a whole season, he's coming in healthy. So. I think
he should have fresh legs.
But then that also leads to a dark horse as well, as in you've seen people that take a break, come back, and they're not
could be over the
person.
hill. Never know. That's the other part of it. It's just like he hasn't proven otherwise except results. So he has to. His name's up there. It can't really drop any farther. I don't think. I mean, he's playing this year. It's a guarantee. So
yeah. Okay, so right after Le'Veon Bell at 12, we're going to go to number 13. And in our consensus, we had Nick Chubb, leading running back for the Cleveland Browns. And he will be the leading running back for about half of the season until Hunt comes back and they start sharing the load. So
even then, Chubb's still going to be relevant. I mean, so there are some people that, well, yeah, once Hunt comes back, Chubb's going to be done. Like he's done. No, that's not the case.
Yeah,
He'll be at worst 50-50.
I like Chubb going into the season, depending on where he's going in the rounds, where he's getting drafted at. I would love to take Chubb and then do the same thing you did last year. I'm trying to think of
I'll take Chubb as my one this year if I got 3 receivers on my team or 2 even, and he's there. You never know. It depends on how the draft is going, but I would love. I mean, 2 wide receiver ones and possibly. I mean, Damian Williams would be the guy I would love to have with 2 wide receiver ones.
Yeah, and Damian Williams in the PPR mock drafts. Let me see where he is going.
You know the downfall of doing this?
At the end of the second round.
Is now you're going to be taking, like me and you're going to be battling. We've already done it for the last few years of battle each other for guys. And now this year it's going to be for sure. We're going to be
on the same
where
mindset.
we are drafting in this league is going to matter big time. It's just going to for our teams.
And I like Chubb, and even when Hunt comes back, like you said, he's still going to be relevant. But as a person, you might be able to get him on the cheap once news starts coming back that Hunt's thinking about running back being like that number 3 passing / sharing with Chubb.
If I don't have Chubb, I'll be trying to trade for him right around that time because his value is going to dip a little bit.
You trying to sell him high also.
Yeah, for sure.
So then Ryan had Chubb at 13. I had him at 14. That moves our number 14 is going to be Leonard Fournette. I have him at 13, and Ryan's got him all the way down at 16. So our consensus 14, Leonard Fournette. Talk about an injury-prone.
His name is in red for me, so I don't know if that says anything.
That's already insight into how his
I don't want him. I know, like, we're talking about opportunity and stuff, but this guy, he just can't stay healthy, man. I don't even...
There's nobody behind him right now.
Don't draft on worried about injuries, but, like, I'm worried about injuries on this guy. If I'm drafting him, like, obviously I'm taking him if it's great value, but Tyler, you already know what I'll be doing. He'll be on the market ASAP. Like, during the draft, he'll be on the market. Like,
you take someone like this, you send him in for the first 2 or 3 games. You know he's going to dominate because he's going to get the rushes. There's nobody behind him, and then you have to probably flip him for a profit as fast as you can. Try to get people on that hype train where they're like, remember Leonard Fournette was going at the end of the first round, in the first round, last 2 seasons that he's played. That's the type of value you're going to be going for when you're with Leonard Fournette.
All you got to do is hope that Matthew Berry, good old ESPN's coverage of fantasy football, hopefully people in your league watch that and they and they say something about Leonard Fournette, and then you can ship him.
Yeah, he goes crazy. So, I mean, last year I drafted him as one, or well, I kept him as one of my keepers in the second round, and then I ended up trading him for Thomas. So Michael Thomas.
Steal.
Right before he went down. But doing the same thing. I mean, he does have hype behind his name if he has a few good games, and the Jaguars are going to look different this year. So
I can't even talk smack because I've pulled those kinds of trades off in the past. So you know what? I just good shit. You deserve it.
All right, so that was our number 14, and then moving on to our consensus 15. Somebody me and Ryan are actually both pretty high on. We flip-flop because I think last time we did this, I was higher, and now he's higher. Sony Michel going at number 15, and talk about a lead rusher for the defending Super Bowl champs. And if he stays healthy, I mean, there's people behind him ready to catch the ball out of the backfield. Sony Michel's ready to run the ball out of the backfield, and he was like averaging 100+ yards per game in the playoffs. So
hey, when this guy was healthy, when Sony Michel was healthy, the Patriots team in general was completely different. They were a juggernaut.
And just looking at the stats, he played 8 games and he's almost at 1,000 yards. Think about getting another 8 games in. That's
like pounding the rock, man. And he's gonna have more catches this year. Bank it. Like just mark it down. Trust me, he's going to catch the ball more than he did before.
If you had a guess on how many receptions he had last year, what would you guess, Ryan?
I'm guessing under 20.
You would be right. I don't
know. Okay.
It's under 10.
Okay.
He had
single
7
digits.
receptions.
He's having 20+ this year. Mark it down.
If he plays another 8 games, I mean, that puts him at 14.
Okay, then if he plays a full season, he's having 30+ catches.
But what you're looking at here too is 209 attempts in 8 games. I mean, that's projecting him at 418 attempts. That
You know what's crazy? I didn't even know he played 8 games.
yeah.
If I knew that, I would have.
He was in 13, but he started 8.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. He could even be higher on this board. He could be.
Yeah, he's
Got
sneaky.
very high potential as running back. I mean, he came into the season already banged up. He already had that knee injury, so I feel
he was
like
held out for a while too. People are getting him for the cheap.
Yeah,
of the cheap.
I had him. I drafted him in almost all my leagues last year.
Was he in like the 6th or 7th round last year?
I got him in the 6th or 7th. Yeah, one of those. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to pull that draft board out. But yeah, 6th or 7th round, and Kerryon Johnson 6th or 7th round around there, and those guys were my running backs for a while.
So then that moves us on. So Sony Michel at 15. Look for him to possibly be a top 10 runner. Moving to 16, we have a tie for 16 and 17. So we're going to first talk about Devontae Freeman. And kind of a relevant name because of last year. He went down in, the second game? Or did he even...
Last few years, he was kind of banged up, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he played... Let me check here. 2 games. So he started 2 games last year.
Jeez.
Went down early, and now he's coming back in healthy. No one behind him. I mean,
Ito Smith's there, but he's not. He's literally nothing special. You can find Ito Smith anywhere.
So you're talking about another sneaky appearance, kind of like how Leonard Fournette's going to be. Get those sneaky first games in.
I actually trust Freeman more than I trust Fournette.
I know. And
I don't know how I can even say that. I just do.
Now that I think about it more, I might want Devontae Freeman. I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to stay away from Leonard Fournette. But if he's a steal later in the draft where you can get those couple games out of him, then I'll pick him up. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, I had him, like I said, I think at 17. And I just couldn't drop him anymore. I just couldn't. Like, after that, it was like Mac or Fournette. And I'm like, I can't. Okay, now Fournette's time. It's Fournette's time now. Because he was an elite player for... he flashed the eliteness.
His first season, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just you got to think about that. I mean, he has it in him. He's done it before.
And like I said, I
want to get more opportunity probably this year.
And I would talk the same way about Devontae Freeman. He's had 3 straight seasons of two 1,000 and then 1 900, and 11 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. I mean, you're talking about a guy that if he was healthy last season, he'd probably be in the top 10. Going into this season, because he'd be another 800 to 1,000 yard rusher.
He's an all-purpose back. That's why I like him. Like he'll catch the rock five times a game even.
Yeah, he's right around that 400 to 500 yards receiving.
Yep. His only concern is his health. Like if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a very productive fantasy running back.
So, I mean, I'm going to keep an eye out for where he lands going into the
I just remember when him and Tevin Coleman they're both rookies in the same year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but
go with this.
Yeah, I took Coleman because he was hyped, and then like a round later you took Freeman, and Freeman just bursted onto the scene. The next year I took Freeman.
Yeah, I took
Coleman, and he won that one too. I'm like, come on, man. I'm more of the receiver guy. Let me draft my receivers.
Yeah.
I'll look for running backs later, whatever.
That's all right. I had Coleman last season, so.
Yeah.
Well, then, who tied Devontae Freeman? We had Philip Lindsay. So, Philip Lindsay's at the 17-16 spot. And you're talking about a guy that, was he undrafted and picked up? And
then, pretty much every league, Philip Lindsay had to be undrafted.
Man. And talk about a beast. And they used him out of nowhere. He's a hometown Denver kid.
I was all over Freeman, dude. I was all over Freeman.
Everybody was.
I traded up in the draft to get him, too. That was the only time I traded up. And I traded up to get him. And it was just, like, again, me and running backs don't get along. So that was, I screwed up right there. And I could have used that pick for something else. But I was super hyped on him, man.
I looked at there was a video of Philip Lindsay and kind of how he lives. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Ryan. He still lives at his mom and dad's house.
Okay.
And they live in Denver, and he said that he's staying there for another year. I think he's already paid off the house, and he's kind of just this he lives in the basement. It's not too fancy. He's not the fanciest person. You see all these other people out here with chains and getting their old fancy cars and houses. I mean, he lives with his parents in the basement. It's a video that I feel like everyone should go out and watch. It's awesome how genuine this kid is.
That's
So
awesome, dude.
it kind of sells you on him.
That's
even
respect. Like, that's just respect right there. I respect that.
Yeah, like his parents are taking care of him as he's going to be
He's
this
just humble as hell, man.
player. And I mean, you have a good player in Freeman behind him, but it's hard to root against how good Philip Lindsay did. I mean, I was comparing them from last season, and Lindsay blew him out of the water. They both played 8 games starting. Lindsay got 60 more attempts and almost 600 more yards than Freeman did. And 9 touchdowns to Freeman's 5. I think Lindsay just proved that he wanted it more. And then that's how he got the start. And he's catching the ball out of the backfield, too. 35 receptions for 241 yards. I think he's kind of like a poor man's Christian McCaffrey.
All right, fair.
Kind of.
I mean, he does everything. Lindsay does everything.
So that's kind of where I put him. Philip Lindsay at our 17, and then getting down to our 18, 19, 20. So we have 18 is going to be Marlon Mack. And talking about a running back on a really good team, and I feel like I'm always expecting more from Mack just because of the situation he's in. That I feel like he could be better than 18.
He's very talented, man. He's very talented, but another guy that gets banged up. Like, he had that hamstring that handcuffed him for the first half of the year, and finally he bursted on.
Yeah, he had a stretch there of like 3 games where he was 20 plus in fantasy points. I think it was like at the end, like the mid to end of the season, where he started to really pour on your fantasy points, and I remember trading him right at that time because he fell off pretty quick, and it's scary to see that where he had like a nice burst in the middle, but then he has these games that make you worry that going into next season, what if he continues to have these games and it's hard to judge and you have to start him every week because he's probably going to be your 2. That I don't know. I don't know if I trust Marlon Mack as much as I would some of the guys that we said before, or even a guy that we have after him, or a couple of guys we have after him. So Marlon Mack, 900 yards, 195 attempts, and he played 10 games, started 10 games, so 9 touchdowns. He's good, I guess. You have anything else to say about him?
I shipped him off at the deadline last year for Keenan Allen, and I feel like I won the deal.
Yeah. Even though Keenan Allen in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs he went down, but like down that stretch right there, Keenan Allen dominated, and Marlon Mack kind of
fell back down. Off too, though.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get on to our sneaky number 19.
My boy.
We got him in there. Ryan pulled it off, brought him to 20, and I put him at 19. We got Kerryon Johnson. Talk about Ryan's hometown running back. He's supposed to be everything the Lions ever wanted, but they didn't use him, Ryan. They didn't use him as much as they should have.
It's because he was like obsessed with LeGarrette Blount for some reason because of his days in New England. I don't know. And then some kind of connection there, and he wouldn't let go.
And then you bring in Blount 2.0 to back him up now?
Yeah, the human bowling ball. CJ Anderson.
I can't imagine how many touchdowns CJ Anderson's gonna have at like the.
He's gonna vulture the shit out of Kerryon, man. It's frustrating. But Kerryon's very explosive, so he'll bust off that 70-yarder, and he'll score and get you some nice points.
And that's what I would talk about is
catches the rock too. So CJ Anderson's not the greatest at catching the ball, so he's gonna be there. I'm pretty sure they still got good old Theo Riddick, but that guy, I don't know why he's on the team. Cut him. I don't know. I think they might. I really think they do. I think it's his last year. Get rid of him. Let Kerryon handle the pass catching.
It feels like Riddick's been in the league for like 20 years. I feel like he's been on that team forever.
He has been.
He's like 27 years old.
He was a RB1 like 3 years ago in PPR.
Yeah, I remember that.
The Brewers are falling apart, dude. I'm like getting pissed off right now. Oh, literally, they threw the ball to Eric Thames, and he fucking dropped it. He dropped it at first. The perfect throw just fell out of his glove. Yeah, it's frustrating. All right,
get for putting him at first base.
Well, where are you gonna hide him in right field? He'll screw up there too.
That's true. All right, let's get back to Kerryon. So Kerryon, we think he's got great talent, and if the Lions use him how we think that they should use him, he's going to accumulate more passing receptions. And then he'll have more attempts. I think it just pushes him up. I mean, I put him right at the kind of the same area that Marlon Mack is. Obviously, we have Mack 1 ahead of him, but who knows? Kerryon Johnson could have a phenomenal season.
Honestly,
or he could be like the same as last season.
Yeah. So I have to rank Mack ahead of Kerryon for the people. I'll put it like that. But I'm taking Kerryon over Mac. If it's me, like,
Then you're gonna get him
don't
for
know how
like
else to
2 rounds
explain it.
later.
Just because of obviously homerism, I'll take him. And I mean, if we're gonna go over, like, I feel like they're pretty close to the same kind of running back. I'd rather have the guy I like more.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's
like for players, like favorite player type guys. Like I'll take Kerryon over Mac
well, and looking at
just for
like
that reason. But
the PPR drafts right now, Marlon Mack's going at the beginning of the 3rd round, and
okay,
Kerryon Johnson's the beginning of the 4th round. So you're
yeah,
saving a whole
right
round.
there, you're saving a full round for a guy that probably could do the same thing.
Yep. So that's a way to look at it. And then going to another homer running back, a lot of people have him ranked higher than what we have him ranked, is Aaron Jones. And talk
Hey
about a
man, they
guy
want to
that
run. They said they want to run. I mean, Aaron Jones is going to be the guy that's going to. I mean, everyone's going to run because Aaron Jones is not proven to be the workhorse guy. He just can't. I mean, he's not going to be able to carry the load. But he is
he's
he
explosive.
is an explosive player, man. It's a good running back. Obviously, I mean, if you got him in your RB2 slot, you got to be happy with that. Like, he's got major upside.
I mean, he's got the same game started, 2 games played as Sony Michel with 8 and 12.
Yep.
He has 133 attempts, which is pretty high for an 8 start, and then 728 yards. He was breaking off plays. He looked explosive. We haven't seen anything like that in Green Bay in a long time. I mean, he scored 8 touchdowns. He gave the offense something that they needed in a running back threat. And I think that having 700 yards in 8 starts is a great number. And his average was, I think it was 5.5. So,
Yeah, it's beastie.
so you're talking about a guy that if he stays healthy again, and they give him the ball more, I mean, having a Jamal Williams right behind you, who is the better blocker apparently.
I like Jamal Williams. He's just your hard-nosed NFL running back. He's not the fantasy. He's not the fantasy running back, but just in terms of football, he's the guy. Like Jamal Williams does it all.
So Aaron Jones, will I draft him probably where he's going? I would say no. I think Aaron Jones is going pretty high. He's in the he's at the end of the 3rd. I think the 3rd is way too soon for him. I would take him at I would take him at like the end of the 4th, kind of where Mark Ingram, Chris Carson. That's where I'm.
That's why we draft to catch these guys, like, when they're falling. I got you. I'll
Yeah, exactly. And looking at to everyone listening, looking at the running back rankings right now, I go from 20 to 30. There's guys in there. I mean, 20 to 30, 20 to 35. I'm seeing guys that you can draft. And you could have 3 stud wide receivers, then you could be stuck with Lamar Miller, Darius
Mark
Geis.
Ingram,
you have Kenyon
Drake, James White, Tevin Coleman.
Look at these guys.
I would love these guys with 3 or 4 good receivers, man.
You pick one of these guys out, I guarantee you they could sneak up into the top 15.
Who else is in this, man? I'm trying to see.
LaShawn McCoy's down there. Royce Freeman's down there. Now you're kind of getting into the later guys. Ronald
and
Jones.
Even Rashad Penny's a sneaky guy. Keep an eye on Rashad Penny too.
Yeah, and some people are getting overdrafted, like Josh Jacobs. He's kind of hyped right now.
Yeah,
and David Montgomery. He's leading Chicago. Tariq Cohen. I mean,
I like Montgomery. I like Montgomery.
So, just all these guys we're pointing out. I mean, we didn't even talk about Derrick Henry. He's going in the top 20 in most people's rankings. I still don't trust him. You can't take that playoff run as, oh, he's going to continue that in the next season. I can still see them saying, hey, I know we ran you hard to get you got those numbers, but we can't do that the whole season. I see him going back to what he was, and Lewis is still there. So Deion Lewis is still behind him. Derrick Henry, I don't know. People might argue about Derrick Henry being in the top 20, but for me,
if they cut out of like training camp or mid preseason, whatever, if they cut Deion Lewis, obviously Derrick Henry flies up. But they're still going to use Deion Lewis. How can't you? He's a good pass catcher. He showed a little bit last year. Maybe they didn't use him right. I don't know, but I don't trust Derrick Henry like what he did in the second half. I don't think he'll be able to do that all year.
And I feel like with Derrick Henry and the hype, he's going to be one of those guys that I'm going to love for people to draft him in the 3rd. and then it's just
for
going
sure.
to
Let me get someone else fall that I want.
Exactly. And I think that's the type of guy. If he falls to like the late 4th or 5th, then I'll think about taking him, just because you're mitigating the risk of if he turns out to be just like he was last season, the beginning of the season.
What do you think of Josh Jacobs?
I don't know. I kind of like him, but you have to keep in perspective, just because he's a lead running back on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Look at the lead running back of the Raiders last year. I mean,
I like the opportunity he has. I don't think he's like that talented, honestly. I was watching some highlights of him. Like, I mean,
when did they
good,
draft him, in the 2nd round or the 3rd round?
No, they drafted him in the 1st with one of their 3 picks.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's
he was the only running back to go in the 1st round. Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a shaky pick. Same with Clelin Ferrell at 4. And it's funny because Mike Mayock comes out after the draft and said that he wanted to draft players from Clemson and Alabama. It's like, what? I could have did that. I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of like head scratching. I mean, yeah, they were the 2 best teams in college, but that doesn't mean that they had all the best players.
Yeah. So, like I said, the Raiders last year, it's hard to look at this new season and be like, oh man, this is going to be the new Raiders, because they got a lot of like these new younger players. But I mean, Doug Martin was the leading rusher over there. He was in 16 games, rushed 9. He only had 700 yards, 4 touchdowns. Marshawn Lynch got hurt early. I know people are hyping up Marshawn Lynch. I drafted him in one of my leagues, but
yeah, you held on to him for a long time in that league.
It just
you had plenty of opportunities to trade him. I remember you were getting plenty calls for Marshawn. Nope.
Yeah, but the offers though.
No, for sure. I guess. I mean, I don't know what offers you got. I probably sent you some garbage here and there, but
some. You mother.
Hey man, I'll send 99 terrible trades and then 1 all right.
So, like, I think the tips we're giving here for Raiders is, I guess it's hard to pinpoint how well he's going to do. They're going to give him the attempts. They've shown they've given attempts to like Doug Martin and Marshawn. Jalen Richard didn't really show up like we thought he was going to when he got the start.
The pass catching game he did. I mean, he was putting up 10 plus or 8 plus, 8 to 15 in PPR down the stretch, which is obviously not great, but serviceable.
Yeah, and as that third running back, I mean, he had 600 passing yards, or receiving yards. So he was there. He's someone to keep an eye on.
They re-signed him too, so I think he'll still take that role. I don't see why he wouldn't. Jacobs is going to be pounding the rock.
Yeah,
we'll see how successful he is, but
he's got young legs.
Yeah, I mean, Jacobs. Where's he going? Where's he going, Tyler?
Yeah, it's kind of scary because people are overdrafting him right now. Let me see. He is, I think, in the 5th round. He might even be higher than that.
Hell no. Yeah, no chance. No chance.
He's in the 3rd round right now. So even crazier.
I'm good.
But
all right, I'm gonna hype up Josh Jacobs come draft day, and hopefully someone.
His company right now is Devonta Freeman and Derrick Henry. So.
Give me both them guys. Freeman first.
Yeah, same. All right, well that'll do it for our 11 through 20. Ryan, do you have it up right now? Do you want to just run through who our consensus 11 through 20 was? Yep.
Yeah, I still got it. Damian Williams at 11. 12 is Le'Veon Bell. 13 is Nick Chubb. 14 Leonard Fournette. Sony Michel. Devonta Freeman. Phillip Lindsay. Marlon Mack. Carry on your wayward son Johnson. And Aaron Jones.
I like it. So that'll be our top 1 through 20 from the last week. So you can go back and listen to
I like these rankings.
Yeah, and this is going to be fun because we're going to have our full rankings out on an Excel sheet like we do now. And we're just going to go right off of how we did this ranking for everybody. And we're going to go all the way to 100, 200, as far as the draft needs us to go. So I look forward to
top 300. I feel like that's top 300 is the best way to go about it. Then it gets you deep into the draft.
That's gonna be exciting.
Between 200 and 300 though, it's just kind of like, everyone's
you draft your guys.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, take the guy that
we'll highlight the sleepers that we think
for sure.
Then
I can't wait for those episodes, the sleepers and stuff like that. I think we should definitely do an early sleeper and then like the
see where
super
it
hype
pans
sleeper
out.
stuff come like August. You know what I mean?
And see how well we can guess for who's
Yep.
going to be
Yeah,
the
and
highest
see how we did on that.
Okay. Well, next week we're definitely going to do the tight ends. I think we're just going to do top 10 tight ends.
Yeah, we'll do
and
top
then be
10.
done with that.
And we'll do top 10 and then some guys to keep an eye on, and that should be fairly quick. And then we'll do some questions next week for sure.
Okay. And then the week after that, maybe we'll touch on the sleepers and kind of the hype. We'll do the hype players for.
I mean, we got a lot of information coming up. We still got to go over trade strategies, draft strategies, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So let's just switch over then. We're going to go to the questions that Ryan has no idea I picked out. And I have I got 3 questions. And the spot is going to be hot for this first question. So this question is going to be, I'm going to give you 2 players that you're packaging together to get 1 running back. So I want you to think of running backs that you can trade Brandon Cooks and Marlon Mack for. So you're going off of
for
Marlon
1
Mack,
running back?
And you get 1 running back. Who are you targeting? I know Brandon Cooks is that people are still saying he's the number 1 for the Rams. And then you have Marlon Mack, who is hyped up. People are taking him as their keeper. He had some great games last season.
So are you going for who I would target with them too?
Yes. Who would be your
Brandon
number 1?
Cooks or Marlon Mack?
I have my pick in my head of who I would go for. I would trade those 2. And I would probably go for like a David Johnson.
Okay. I was thinking David Johnson, James Conner, Joe Mixon.
Okay, I could see James Conner too.
I like Joe Mixon. I know you're not on that train. I would probably do that, but I would probably pick. Okay, now during these trades, like those 2-for-1s right there. So like those are the 2 main pieces going in that trade. But I always try to snag somebody else in that deal. And it's not even got to be a big name. It's just a guy on the bench that I'm like, dude, he has potential. So like, give me like a Traquan Smith in that. You know what I mean? Like, throw him in. Let me get that.
Or like a DJ Moore or something.
Sure. Okay. Like, just something like that to like offset the Brandon Cooks and then still get the upside on that running back.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. So we do Connor, Mixon, or DJ, and then you're trading Brandon Cooks and Marlon Mack for him. I like that. I like that one. And then I got a second one here. This is going to be a hot one. It's going to be hard. Looking at it, I'm also so dynasty team. Let's say you keep this tight end forever, whichever one you pick. You get OJ Howard or Evan Ingram. So you got Evan Ingram, who's coming off of that last season, did not do it well last season. He was given the lead once Odell Beckham went down. Still only had 8 games started, right around 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. But then you got O.J. Howard, who was supposed to be this unrealistic talent of a tight end. Speeder, he had 8 games played as well, 500, almost 600 yards again, and then 5 touchdowns. So very similar too. But you have nobody behind Evan Ingram. You have Cameron Brate behind O.J. Howard. Which one would you want on your team for the rest of your seasons if you had to pick one?
I'm taking O.J. Howard.
Okay.
I know it's not probably the likely pick. Really? You were going to go that way too?
Yeah.
I like O.J. Howard, man. He's a beast, man. He is. He can do everything. Evan Ingram's good too. Don't get me wrong. Like they're comparable. Yeah. They're comparable, but
they're on almost a dead
last
even.
Year, this was like pretty scary. I mean, yeah, because Odell came back, Barkley was there, eating up plenty of targets, but he should have had a better season. And O.J. Howard, you could tell he was on the verge of a breakout, and then he got hurt.
Yeah. And what I'm thinking, too, is the quarterback throwing to him.
Mm-hmm.
Eli, yeah, he does a lot of dump-offs, too. He's losing his arm. He's turning kind of into that old Alex Smith role where he's just throwing it short.
Now, to pause you on all this, though, like thinking about it, you said to keep in like a dynasty format. So you're looking in the future in years to come. Yeah. Now, Evan Ingram, probably with Eli Manning still at the helm there, he's probably going to have a better year than OJ. There's no one really there. And look what Ingram did when Odell went down 2 years ago. I mean, he snapped, like he went off. So I could see Ingram doing that, but then he's going to be transferring to another quarterback. And I mean, OJ Howard could be as well if Winston doesn't play well. I mean, that could very well happen, but I just feel like
I'd rather put my
OJ
chips
Howard's more
on
of a
O.J.
freak,
Howard.
dude. He's more of a red zone target too, and he can do everything else. He's got sneaky speed, big body, decent hands too. So I just think overall, OJ Howard's just the better tight end. Evan Ingram is more of, honestly, like a slot receiver.
Yeah. And I mean, they're both 24 years old, so that age is out of the picture for a dynasty league. You're getting the same out of both of them.
I mean, that was a solid question, though.
Yeah,
I'm like curious to see where. I wish there was like a poll that we could just find out what people are going on that. I'm like really curious to see which way they were.
Maybe when when we get more people listening,
we could throw out some polls like that.
I'd be curious what people had to say about this question as well. It seems to be split when I'm looking at the question for people answering. It seems like Howard is probably the 60-40 for this question.
I mean, I guess it's kind of surprising to me. I thought I was kind of taking the
There's a lot of Evan Ingram truthers that are like big Giants fans, but I think OJ just had. But then having Brate behind you, Brate had that great season when.
He can steal some touchdowns.
But okay, so we're gonna both go with OJ on that one, and it's very close. And going into our last question. Okay, so you have Royce Freeman, Ryan. Would you trade him straight up for Tyreek Cohen? And
yes, I would.
And looking at Royce Freeman as
I might be biased because I traded up to get this guy. All right, let me just give me a second. Take that back. Let me think for a second here, man.
All right, well, I'm going to tell everybody I ended the season with Cohen on my team. I love Cohen. They're going to get a rookie running back that's supposedly a 3-down running back. I think Cohen gets a lot more receiving yards, and I think he gets more
pass
rushes.
Catching ability where Royce Freeman has 0.
Yeah. And
all right, I'm staying with it. You know, you threw me on the spot. I made a rational, I kind of like made a quick decision that maybe I thought I would regret, but I don't. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. Royce Freeman has to win the job over a Philip Lindsay that's just running in stride. Happening. And Tyreek Cohen.
Philip Lindsay does everything. He does everything at least average. You know what I mean? Like
Turok the dinosaur hunter. He is.
Every time I hear his name, I think it's Turok.
Oh my god!
The game for 64.
Yeah, he's out there just fighting velociraptors. He is a great threat when it comes to an offense, and I love him. I think that people are saying that, like I'm saying, Montgomery being a 3-down running back. I don't think that. I think Cohen gets more work than people think. And
for sure he's gonna. Well, he's gonna be. If Montgomery's in the game, Tyler. That doesn't mean Cohen's not going to be. They could be putting this guy in the slot, having him both in the backfield. Nagy he's got a pretty good offense. He's an offensive-minded guy over there. So I definitely see him getting them both involved. It's not like I don't think Montgomery's going to be like phased out and it's Cohen's guy thing. But I mean, he's going to get work. They're both going to get work. So people thinking that Cohen's not going to get a lot of work is just let him fall. I'll take him.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and
he's just so explosive. That's how that offense runs.
Yeah,
and when that's what Nagy did with Tyreek Hill.
I just mean Cohen knows the offense because of him being there 2 years now. That having a new guy come in, you might want that person who knows the offense, who has meshed with Trubisky, possibly as your lead running back, and then let Montgomery kind of phase Montgomery in. And then make it more of a half and half.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I could definitely see it as Montgomery the starter, and then still Cohen being the gadget guy.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be Montgomery's backfield. That's for sure. It's going
to look a lot better than when they had Howard.
For sure, Montgomery. I mean, now we bashed them so hard on that, but they made up for it with this pick.
Yeah, I like it, and it's going to be exciting to watch the Bears, even though we're Packers fans.
I hate the Bears.
The Bears offense is fun. It's fun to look at and possibly think of them being a good offense and have a good defense, but it all comes down to how well Trubisky is playing. So he's kind of
that's the key component right there. I think their defense literally takes a little step back. Just a little bit.
I mean, it's
just a
hard
little
to
bit. They're not going to be
keep the
bad
elite.
for sure. It's impossible, but they're not going to. I don't think they're going to be as dominant. Trubisky, he's got talent. We'll see if he takes a big leap here. If he does, they're really dangerous. If he doesn't, if he stays the same that he did last year, they are the Jacksonville Jaguars of last year.
Oh my God, I was thinking the same exact thing. And
so that could
like
possibly
a Blake
happen.
Bortles, where Bortles has some great games.
I don't want to compare him to Blake Bortles. I mean, I'm kind of talking about like the team in general of like AFC Championship to not making the playoffs type thing.
Okay.
So I could see the Bears, being dominant for last year. Obviously, they got bounced in that first round because, I mean, I figured they would because they haven't proven anything come playoffs. It could be kind of the same thing.
If you're comparing those two teams to like similarity-wise, they do the same type of rushing last year. I mean, this year they don't have anyone for number 2 for the Jaguars, but you had Leonard Fournette and Yeldon. And Yeldon was as easy as how Cohen.
Did that guy sign anywhere yet, or is he still a free agent?
I think I heard he signed somewhere, but
okay.
I mean, that just shows how not important he is for fantasy. he's a good running back. He showed flashes when he was given the lead.
Oh, I mean, shit, when he was on RB1 for a long stretch there with Fournette out. Oh, I mean, that just proves right there. Look what a running back can do with opportunity.
Yeah,
it's just what it is. That's why every single year you find somebody that was not drafted that becomes a huge fantasy player because of injuries or people losing jobs. That's why I love stacking the receivers. I mean, receivers come out of nowhere too, but not like RB1s. Literally, there's RB1s every year that aren't drafted.
Yeah,
you just got to be that guy that sticks in their nose deep into the season, and you know what you're looking for, and you got to get there first before everyone else does. You got to see it coming. I did that with Jordan Howard his rookie season. I grabbed him a couple weeks before Langford even got hurt, and then I remember I had Howard, and somebody in their league was like, "You already have Howard? What the hell?" I'm like, yeah, man, I've been on this. I've had Howard for 3 weeks now. It's like, what? Like, yep, I was waiting for this moment. What do you want for? What are you gonna give me for him?
There you go. There's the Ryan quote.
Yeah.
And Yeldon went to the Bills, so the Bills
okay.
He
might get opportunity there.
Didn't Frank Gore go to the Bills? And
yeah, he did.
McCoy
don't even worry about McCoy. I don't literally don't worry about Frank Gore. I mean, I say that every year, and the guy somehow produces at 50
He ain't
years
producing
old.
This year. No way.
The guy's an alien or something. Yeah, he can't produce this year. He can't.
All right. We can't jump on the Frank Gore. I'm not talking about Frank Gore.
No more Frank Gore, man.
Come on. All right, that's going to do it for our episode today. Next week, we're going to touch on our tight ends. It's going to be interesting.
All exciting tight ends.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting where we draft Evans. So keep an eye on Evans and keep an eye on OJ and see where me and Ryan are going to put those rankings. Tight ends, we're going to do some questions. Any news that pops up from here now until next Monday, we'll keep our ears open. I don't know.
Go Bucks.
Know if too much is out there. Yeah, go Bucks. Huge Bucks fans here. We'll be watching that series.
We've been waiting all of our lives for this moment.
Yes.
Don't let us down.
Great basketball being
I was
played,
at that game, Tyler. I didn't even tell you. I was at Game 5 when they clinched it.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, Ryan's not a fan. He's not a true fan. He said
I'm
Raptors
a true fan. I'm a fan of all losing teams, dude. It's like, prove it to me, man. Like, I want them to win, but it's just I'm negative when it comes to my sports team. Sorry.
So that'll do it. Make sure that you're following us on iTunes. Rate, subscribe, comment. Make sure that you follow us on our Twitch and Twitter. Everything is down in the bio below. We have
follow
Spotify.
On Twitch, yeah, for sure. On Twitter and Twitch, because when we go live come fantasy season, we'll be doing live shows.
And I'm posting.
And that will give you a chance to ask any questions you want in the chat, while it's live. I mean, there's a 10-second delay on there, but it'll come up and we'll answer your question right there on the spot.
Yeah, and we're doing YouTube also. All of our episodes are on YouTube, not with video yet, but we'll easily once the season starts coming closer, we'll start doing our Twitch streams. I'll take those exact Twitch streams, put them right onto YouTube.
Yep.
So we'll have video of both of us. So
the live Twitch streams, if you want to keep up with those, you don't have to stick around the whole time if you don't want to, because obviously we'll be uploading that to YouTube if you're busy or anything like that. I mean, you can drop in for that 2 minutes or whatever, ask your question, ask a couple of questions, and hop out, and then watch the rest on YouTube or whatever. But you'll get your question answered live right there, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know if anyone's done that yet. So.
And what I'm saying, and with that Twitch, you see our handles below. Make sure you copy those, paste them into Twitch, and then you give us a follow, and then you turn on that bell. So whenever we upload a video, same goes with YouTube. Hit that bell. Whenever we upload, it's gonna pop up right on your phone. It's gonna send you an email letting you know that we just made an episode, and that you can just click in. If we're live, it lets you know we're live, so you can just click in, and you are right there, right when the beginning of the episode starts, and you're ready to ask us those questions live. And then we're ready to answer any questions. Give us as hard a question as you can give us. So that'll do it for this episode, and I think this is going to be episode 12. Nope, this is episode 13. So we're already at 13, and we're just going to keep chugging along, and I'm excited for the season to get started. I know the scary part is as soon as football starts is when my wedding gets closer in October, and we are just wedding planning our asses off. So we are
another
busy.
thing I wanted to mention, though, like during those streams, like the Twitch streams, that's going to be like the do or die month in baseball. So honestly, like it's gonna be fantasy stream, but it's still a sports podcast. So
yeah,
don't be afraid to ask even like sports of like basketball. Like NBA is gonna be not by then. NBA won't be started, but there's gonna be a lot of hype around the NBA, where free agents go, stuff like that. Baseball is gonna be in the prime month where it all really counts. Like throw us a football question, and then afterwards, if you got any sports stuff, baseball. I love talking baseball. It's literally my favorite sport. So even those kind of things, throw them in the chat while we're live, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, seriously, we'll take any questions. And
we just love talking sports. Like, yeah, we're focused on fantasy football, but that doesn't mean we're not going to talk basketball or baseball. Like, if you got questions,
or if we don't talk about it, just ask the question, and then we'll answer it. Because even though it doesn't seem like we talk about those too much, we still have the knowledge of the sports. And
I mean, yeah, we're focused on fantasy football because it's literally like
we can't make every episode.
We kind of live for it. Like, I love fantasy football. Like, fantasy football is the best thing, but baseball is the best sport. So,
oh my god, couldn't.
I don't play fantasy baseball though. I've played it a few times. I would love to get into it a little bit more. But fantasy football has been my thing since 2003.
It's been a long time running, and it actually has been a long time running for us to make this podcast. We probably could have made this 3-4 years ago, same setup, but now is our time, and we're excited to continue going forward. And hopefully everyone sticks around with us, follows us, and the more that you give us ratings and subscriptions, the more our channel grows and gets to more people. So we're just going to keep sharing with our friends, and then hopefully everyone just spreads it out, and we get to a larger audience, and we start talking with other professionals, get people on the show. It'd be a fun time if we see ourselves one day talking to a bunch of people. So
that would be awesome. Hell yeah.
All right, well, go Brewers. I know that Ryan's already showed his displeasure, so I'll have to look at the score. And,
it's 3-2. Stock has hit a home run, so we're good right now.
All right,
but yeah, go Bucks.
All right, see you guys later.